Hello and welcome to a comparison video of the 3 Corvettes used by the Rebel Alliance in awakening out the rebellion. This list includes the CR-90 Corellian Corvette, the Smyrna Hammerhead Corvette, and the DP-20 Corellian gunship. Now this list does not include the Brawlhawk Talk, as those are considered to be gunships, or any gameplay of the ships in the background. This comparison video will host 10 total categories, and each category will give out a 3-point ranking, a 2-point ranking, and a 1-point ranking, depending on where the ship lies. At the end, we will add up all of the points and declare a winner, and keep in mind that one of these ships will be a loser. However, that does not mean that this ship is unusable in any way. Also, this is also a very personal opinion video, and you might disagree with some of the categories and how they are ranked. Let's go ahead and get started. We have the prices of each ship. Now, this one's pretty easy, obviously. The cheapest price will get the first place, which is the CR-90 coming in at 2,000 credits. You have the Hammerhead at 2,500 and the DP-20 at 2,750. Pretty easy category. Moving on to the shields. The CR-90 has fast charging anti-laser shields with a strength of 500. The Smyrna Hammerhead has an average charging balance with a strength of 400. And the DP-20 has anti-laser cannon with a strength of 450. I believe the anti-laser cannons to be the best because laser cannons are what's most likely to kill Corvettes. They deal a lot more damage than lasers, and they're also a lot more accurate than other weapons. So I believe that the anti-lasers are the best. And interestingly enough, I believe that the lasers are the worst. Because lasers are commonly used on fighters, and fighters really aren't that good against Corvettes because Corvettes are anti-fighter ships, I just don't see the lasers being all that useful. And that means that the balance shields, which are a little bit more well-rounded than the anti-laser, will get the second place finish. The armors of each ship, we have the CR-90 with light armor with a strength of 500, the DP-20 with a little bit less strength of only 450, and the Hammerhead has medium armor with a strength of 600. I gave the medium armor the slight edge, just because you don't have to worry about anti-armor missiles hitting the fast Corvettes, and the medium armor is just better against most other weapons. Because the light armor of the DP-20 is a little bit less than the light armor of the CR-90, it will get the 1-point finish, and the CR-90 will get 2 points. The next category is probably the most important for Corvettes because of how fast they are and how fast they need to be. The CR-90 has 350 speed with a very high turn and a high acceleration, can get the first place finish. It has just a little bit more speed than the DP-20, which will get second place. And the Hammerhead will get last place because it has less speed than the other two, and it has a low turn, which is very important to have. You want it to be as high as possible, so that's obviously going to get last place. The next category is anti-fighter capability. Now this one will take from the weapons of each of the ships that are really good against anti-fighter duties. The CR-90 has 4 laser cannons and 2 heavy dual laser cannons. The Hammerhead has 1 dual laser cannon and 2 heavy laser cannons. And the DP-20 has 2 repeating dual point defense lasers and 4 heavy dual laser cannons. The DP-20 is going to get second place. I just think that the 4 laser cannons are a little bit better than the 2 repeating dual point defense lasers. The laser cannons are going to be better against heavier fighters, and there's 2 more of them. And I don't think you need that many dual heavy laser cannons because those are really only good against like heavy bombers. So I think the anti-fighter duty gets the slight edge to the CR-90, and then the Smyrna Hammerhead is not really any good in comparison to the other 2 ships, so it will get the last place finish. However, the anti-ship weapons is a different story. I believe the anti-ship weapons goes to the DP-20. You have 4 heavy dual laser cannons, which is 2 more, as well as it has the dual effect than the Smyrna Hammerhead. Yes, the light turbo lasers are probably better than the dual heavy laser cannons, but you have 2 more of them, as well as the 4 burst assault missiles. And I think the assault missiles are extremely good for anti-ship duties. So anti-ship duties are kind of like anti-frigate, anti-cruiser. So 2 points for the Hammerhead, 1 point for the CR-90. CR-90 just doesn't compare at all. It's an obvious last place. And the DP-20, I gave it the 3 points. Now the next category is really interesting. It's the abilities category. And you would probably assume that I would give the first place finish to the Smyrna Hammerhead because it has an extra ability that the other 2 does not have. But for me, I noticed that the CR-90 needs this ability way more. So I gave the CR-90 first place. The power to engines ability is way more useful on the CR90 because you want it to be a lot more maneuverable. And when it comes to the Hammerhead, the brace for impact ability is not all that good, because if it's getting shot at by something that's good at killing Corvettes, it's already going to die. And the brace for impact also stops it from moving. Not completely, but it really slows them down, like 90%. So I went ahead and gave it to the 1 point, because the moment it kicks on that brace for impact ability, you're really, really screwed. So unless you want to micromanage how you use that ability, it's really going to backfire for you. And then the DP20 is going to get second place, just for being default, kind of. Being better than the Hammerhead, but worse than the Corvette. The next one is the sensor ranges, or all the ranges. The best ranges is going to go to the DP20, or actually no, it's going to go to the Hammerhead. The Hammerhead's going to get first place. The light turbo lasers is going to be a little bit more important with the range. Yeah, the missiles are good, but the missiles are going to be good from any range, so you don't really have to worry about those too much. It's actually really interesting. I wonder why I gave this 3 points. This is going to be really close. You could easily tie these, but I guess the light turbo lasers is going to be a little bit better at range than the heavy dual laser cannons, and then you're going to get last place. But that one's pretty controversial, which one you want to have better range. I would probably give it to the 3 points to the Hammerhead. That's why I probably did. The next category is Pop Cap. That one's pretty simple. I think I actually tied these with 2 points each, yeah. And then the 1 Pop Cap extra will get 1 point just because it's a little bit worse. Now the tech level is really important. The DP20 comes in at tech level 3, while the others are at any tech level. So that's really important to realize, that you won't be able to get the DP20 until you get to tech level 3. It's almost worth it to give both of these two ships 3 points and only 1 point for this, but I just gave them 2. Now, my own personal opinion for these ships will get its own category. I think that the CR90 is going to be the best. Honestly, I just think it is. It's the best anti-fighter. It's the best Corvette. A Corvette, when you think of a Corvette, you think about anti-fighter and speed. And this it's the fastest and the best anti-fighter. I wrote it down right here. I guess the best thing for the Hammerhead is its tankiest, which is kind of important, but it's not really something that you look for when it comes to a Corvette. You don't think about how tanky the Corvette is. And the best range isn't really all that good of a category. The best shield type is kind of good for the the DP20. Shield is pretty important since it has that fast charging ability. You can kind of get it out of combat and then bring it back in with that boost powered engine ability, and have it have full shield once again. And also has the best weapons. I think the best weapons is pretty key. I think the DP20 has the best weapons even over the CR90, except maybe to anti-fighter duties. So the total amount of points we have, oh boy, we have 24 points for the CR90, 20 points for the Hammerhead, and 20 points for the DP20. And that means our winner is the CR90. I really do think that the CR90 is the best Corvette. What did I write right here? Final score, yeah. So the final score is going to be 24 points for the CR90, 20 points for the Hammerhead, and 20 points for the DP20. I really do just think that the Corvette is just better. The CR90 Corellian Corvette is exactly what you think of when you think of a Corvette. It's anti-fighter, it's fast, it's hard to hit, it's got decent shields, it's got that fast charging shield ability, it's got light armor, which is going to be really important against the weapons that can hit it. So, like I said, this is a personal opinion video, so the Hammerhead and the Corellian gunship are still really, really good. I was actually really surprised at how good the DP20 was. But the first place finish goes to the Corellian Corvette.